The football situation in New York. Boy, could it be better, huh? The Jets and Giants were 0-6. The Giants won yesterday, Coca. There's a brand new quarterback in town, and his name is Dart. And I totally forgot his first name. That's unreal. I wanted to say it, Coca. What is it? Is it Jackson Dart? That doesn't sound right. It is? All right, let me do that again. 4869. There's a new quarterback in New York, and his name is Dart. Jackson Dart. Good old Russell Wilson got benched, didn't get released, didn't get traded, just got benched. And now he's being the anti-Aaron Rodgers and saying, oh, of course I'll mentor. I'm happy to mentor because he's a good guy. Why wouldn't he mentor? And he does realize that he was not playing well enough to keep his job. He was lucky enough to get a job. It's hard to imagine the Giants actually thought that he would do the job. Amazing to me that they signed him to begin with, but I digress. The Giants have a win. The Jets could win tonight. That'd be 2-6, up from 0-6. But the story that I've been thinking about is all of the injuries that keep taking place at MetLife, at that new stadium, after they took a wrecking ball to Old Giant Stadium and got a song out of it by Bruce Springsteen. Well, there was another injury. Did you see that Malik Neighbors may have torn his ACL? It's the same field where Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL. It's the same field where all of these players, there's like a list of players, visiting players, home players who keep getting hurt on the turf at MetLife. And people are saying, how can that be? Rodgers' Achilles, what did I say, Coca? ACL, I meant Achilles. If I thought I was making mistakes earlier, wait till you hear me now, folks, as I can't put 3 sentences together to make a paragraph. So I was thinking about how this turf happens and why, and how everybody's blaming the turf. Coca telling me he can't stand MetLife Stadium, thinks it's a piece of crap. It really is not a great stadium, there's no question. When we went around touring stadiums before building Marlins Park, we toured football stadiums, we toured baseball stadiums, we even toured arenas, NBA arenas. We were trying to figure out best practices, what to do, how to do it. It was never a question whether we'd have grass. What was a question is dealing with sun studies and figuring out how to take care of the grass, knowing you'd have 81 games on the grass minimum, plus exhibition, plus postseason, you'd hope. Marlins Park opened in 2012, and they've moved to turf. Because the reality is that taking care of grass is way harder than you think. There are stadiums who have figured it out, like at University of Arizona Stadium in Glendale, where they literally roll out the entire field into the parking lot. I think Real Madrid lowers it into the ground into a pre-built irrigation system with some sort of lights. We had these sunlight beams that we would bring into Marlins Park and put on the outfield. And so we'd pretend it was sunny at certain times when it wasn't sunny. And we'd have an irrigation plan of what time we'd water and when. We'd mow it at a certain time, and then Ichiro would tell us to remow it. That's a true story. You know what, though? It's super expensive. And there may be a thought like, oh, what's the difference? Well, when you're trying to book events and you put into the cost of the event, resodding the entire field, oh, that's another 50 grand on top or 100 grand on top every time you do an event. And if you don't resod it, the field looks like crap and then gets criticized when you have to spray paint it green and the camera says, wait a minute, we're high def enough to see that's not grass. And then you walk the field before a game and you realize that you're walking on rock and that you're asking a player to dive on it. Like it's the old artificial turf where you're diving on concrete and you realize the grass is just concrete. And then you realize that you have to find another solution. And that's what MetLife did. They tried to find a way. Now, is it a coincidence? Is it true that Odell Beckham is right, that he thinks that all of the injuries are happening and that MLB, that NFL is not paying attention to health and safety because this turf exists and all these players are getting hurt? And legally, I can tell you, good luck to try to prove causation. Coincidence? unfortunate circumstance, happenstance. But to prove negligence, to prove liability, NGTH, not going to happen. The NFL forcing teams to change their turf because of an injury rate, not going to happen. The World Cup can make grass. They can make whatever rule they want. They can make MetLife put grass in to have World Cup games, and it will not have one impact on what happens inside for the 17 NFL games that are played at MetLife every year. They simply will not be able to change it. So the question is, what do players do? And the answer is that until you have another decade, 2 decades, if not way bigger sample size, to actually prove that MetLife has a specific condition that is causing this, it would be the equivalent of me telling you that it was my good fortune, my life, my luck, everything good that's happened to me since the day I was born, that all got reversed on September 12th, and that there's some sort of relationship. We'll show him and them. They thought they had it good. We will paralyze them in their tracks, and then we'll see. How do you even come to that conclusion? The reason is that everybody needs an answer. Football players, fans, everybody's looking for an answer as to why the injuries are happening. You know what? Sometimes the answer is that there's no answer. And I can't fathom it. I can't deal with it. I don't want to think about that, except rationally, intellectually. It may be the only thing I know at this very moment about anything, is that sometimes there's not one thing you can do about a result.